We have all been here before. We've either been on the receiving end of the campaigns or we've done it ourselves. And if you're new to creating campaigns, hopefully we can help you avoid this mistake. That is pouring a cold CTA onto the amazing campaign that you've just created. You will spend days quite often creating that campaign, writing the email, writing the post, and then throw a CTA on the bottom of it that just is like wet fish or throwing a bucket of cold water at the very end of that campaign. Our call to actions are more than a button. They're a decision point. And we don't want to be boring and saying something like click here just because the button that we put into the builder said that. And we don't want to say buy now to someone who's just met us and just come across our content, because that's like proposing marriage on a first date. Most people think of a CTA as an afterthought, something they must add to the campaign. They must have a certain number of them throughout the campaign. But the CTA is the art of the ask. And in this video, we're going to stop guessing and start making sure that we're using the science and the recipes of marketing that mean that our CTA is going to align with the journey our audience is actually on and get them to take action. Before we talk about specific words and phrasings for our call to action, we have to talk about physics. Every ask we make of a prospect has a cost, and that cost is measurable. And in marketing, we call that friction. Friction is that psychological and practical resistance a person is going to feel before doing something. It's the effort that's required from our audience perspective, and it directly correlates with the conversion rates that our campaigns are going to get. The higher the friction, the lower the conversion. It's how it goes. So sometimes we're going to see people drop off because we have a higher friction point in the campaign. And that's fine. We just want that high friction point at the very start. There are a few key components of friction when it comes to marketing and putting together a call to action and a campaign. The first one is the physical cost. It's a tangible effort required by our audience to do something. That could be the number of form fields we have for them to fill out, the need to navigate to a new page, the investment to watch a video to understand or read the document, or the effort that they have to do to pull that credit card from out of that back pocket and make that purchase. Asking for 10 pieces of information on a lead form has inherently more physical friction than just asking for their name and their email address. So that's where you look at the different physical cost of your call to action. Now, in some campaigns like lead magnets, you actually want to have those dedicated quizzes and data to create segment. And we know we've got a higher component of friction, so we're going to see less conversion, but the conversion we do get will be a better result. Then there's the emotional cost. This is quite often more subtle, but it is more powerful. It involves easing the anxiety associated with the ask. This could be perceived risk. Will I get spammed? Is the company trustworthy? Is this worth my time? It could be commitment, the feeling of being obligated or locked into something, even if it is just a free trial. Privacy concerns, what's going to happen with their data, especially a phone number or a home address, and cognitive load, the amount of mental energy needed to process the offer to understand it. And finally, there's the time cost that sits in this psychological and emotional load. How long will the person have to wait to receive the benefit? How much time will it take to process right now? An immediate download has a lower friction time than a promise to have a callback within 48 hours. Understanding friction is the first part to mastering the art for an effective call to action. Your goal here is not just to make your call to action clear, but to consistently strive to reduce the friction so the perceived cost to our audience is always significantly lower than the perceived value of the reward. So high frictions, book a 30-minute call. Enter your card, fill out this 10 form field. Low friction is watch this 60-second clip, check out the proof, or reply with a thumbs up. Now, both of those have their place. The art then is all about balancing the friction with the reward. If you're asking for high friction, then the reward needs to be high value. If you're at the start of the relationship, we want to keep the friction low. We want to allow that seed of interest to happen and let them climb up our marketing tree. The goal isn't just to get a yes, it's to get a micro yes and a series of small yeses, which build into the bridge and the high friction offer of book that call, sign up for the program, do those sorts of things. Now that we understand those points of friction, we've actually got to have a look at those 3 stages of awareness that people are going to go through when we ask them to take action, when we give them the direction for the next step. Now, hitting a total stranger, as I said, with a buy now CTA is proposing marriage on the first date. It's a little bit creepy and it normally sends them running. So to fix it, we need to break our communication down into 3 smart levels. The first stage is the awareness stage, the just browsing stage. Think of this as the casual scroll. The person is cold. They may not know you and they might just be realizing that they're having a problem. They might just be watching funny videos within their feed and scrolling social media. Watching a short clip or reading a blog post is all we need to do here. The main goal here isn't to sell anything, it's to get their eyes on your stuff and pull them into your world. So the big mistake I see here is people at this stage in the scrolling and getting to know you and, first date stage are saying, work with me now, book a free consultation. They're asking way too much in the commitment journey way too soon. The better solution that we have here is a smart ask, a low CTA commitment. So you just want to hook them in. See the logic behind this. Discover how this applies to your industry. Watch the next videos in the series or read the full deep dive here. The ask is almost effortless. It's just guiding them to level 2. The next stage is the consideration and comparison phase. They know the brand, they know the audience, they've acknowledged that your product or your service or you're the expert, and they're actively searching for a solution. Now, your solution is probably going to be one of the many options that they're weighing up right now. They could be on your email list or they could be reading one of your detailed articles. The goal now is to not provide a vague ask. So signing up for my newsletter has no tangible value. Failing to motivate anyone, no one actually wants to take any action with that one. But if you say sign up here to get daily email tips or take this quiz to do that, you've got a smart ask and a smart value exchange for your CTA. It is a trade of their data for good, actionable stuff. So it could be a 5-day challenge. It could be get my blueprint. It could be download the checklist. You're giving them something tangible. If you're asking for their contact details, you've got to give them some value to get along that way. Once you've got that data, you can then send them a very good, strong campaign. Now, I've mentioned quizzes a few times. If you want to look at a really good quiz maker, we used Interact. It's a really funky quiz maker. We've been using it for many years. So the goal of the comparison phase is to get them on the list so that we can guide them into step 3, which is going to be our decision phase. Now, this is the big moment of commitment. The prospect is hot or warm at least. They've consumed the free stuff that you've got out there. They've probably downloaded that level 2 comparison resource or attended the webinar or done the quiz. And now it's time for the final pitch. They're no longer debating if you can solve their problem, but they're looking at who they should hire. And this CTA needs to be crystal clear and focused on the transformation your product or service is going to offer them. So a big mistake we see here in marketing is we get to the ambiguous ask, contact us or learn more. These terms don't actually have any urgency behind them. They are leaving the person confused. Am I at the stage that I need to do this? Am I doing the right thing or can I wait till later? The smart ask is the transformation focused CTA. So the language would be all about creating action. Examples for this might be claim your strategy session now, start your 30-day shift, pitch your story to the media, enroll in the full program, and buy now to get instant access. So we can use buy now here, but we're saying things like get instant access. Ambiguity is going to kill conversion here. You need to be bold. You need to tell them what the value is and what that next step is going to be. If you've gone through this video and you're bashing yourself up going, none of my CTAs do this, now it's time to do a quick little CTA makeover. Nothing big, just a few small changes that you can make straight away. And even if you need to write it down and pop a post-it note on your desk, it's a great way of doing this. So if you've been watching the video and by now you're thinking, oh God, my CTAs are not doing what I need them to do. Here's a few small changes that you can make straight away that's not too big that will create impact within your call to actions. The first thing you're going to do is stop using words that sound like admin, like a task that we have to do something like submit, register, download. If they feel like forms and paperwork, your CTA sounds like something you would want to avoid on a Monday morning, then your audiences probably want to avoid it too. So we're going to swap here. We're going to look at get, smart, claim, discover. So discover more, claim your bonus. These tell people what they're getting and what they have to do. Now, one really simple test for you to do right now is open your website and squint until everything is blurry. Can you see your CTA straight away? If not, the page is working against you. You want to make sure that your CTAs are visible. Make sure the buttons stand out. They're almost popping off the screen, but they're not so big and flashy that they're going to turn people away either. It's a fine line, but you want to make sure that you do have those CTAs standing out in your page. And often you need more than one CTA on a page. And this is one more thing that matters, whether we've spent a whole lot of time creating a video or a blog post about a specific problem. Don't finish with a visit my website. That's vague and it kills momentum. The CTA should be the next logical step in the problem that you've talked about. You're not trying to be clever here, you're just trying to make the next step easy. So for my call to action for this video, for example, will be if you are looking for more skills and resources on how to ask and do a CTA check, go and check out the Ideas, Impact and Marketing Circle so that you can get support and resources like this every day for your business. So here's what I want you to do next. Go back and look at your last 3 asks. They might be the button on your website, a line at the end of your email, or how you finish your video. And then ask yourself one simple question. Does this match where the relationship with my audience actually is? If you're finding this part tricky, I've made it easy for you. I've put together the CTA Smart File. It's not just a list of buttons, it's a practical tool to help you check the level of friction and choose the right emotional trigger your journey's on. If you're already inside the Ideas, Impact and Marketing Circle, you'll find it waiting for you in the resources section. If you're not a circle member yet, then this is your invitation. It's a space for those who want their ideas to actually go somewhere and not just sit in drafts. So click the link below, join us in the Ideas, Impact and Marketing Circle, and come and join me in a Q&A session and tell me how those call to actions are going, because I would love to see how you're making the art of the ask work for you. Until next time, I'm Linda Reed-Enever and I'm Ideas, Impact and Marketing Strategist, and I help you create impact by teaching you what I do. If this video has been useful for you, please share it, please engage with it, and please give someone else the chance to master the art of call to actions.